shall we dive into the comic book club?
Oh, and so we never announced what we were going to speak about now, but it's
We try to
definitely
keep you wanting more.
it's definitely worth the read. And what we are going to speak about right now is The Last Ronin.
Last Ronin, yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin.
My opinion, probably one of the best indie series.
Came out of nowhere.
Like. It's okay. So to do a quick spoiler-free breakdown, and then we'll dive into spoilers when we talk about like what we vibe with the book. So spoiler-free. Essentially, it's a 5-issue miniseries. This concept was originally given.
It's not 4.
No, it's 5.
Yeah.
So this concept is originally Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, to understand the kind of like history of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, go and watch Netflix's Toys That Made Us. They kind of do a really good like explanation. So they created the Turtles, created the comic book, it boomed. And then I think there was a dispute at some point in time, and they kind of split ways. And then Nickelodeon bought the rights. And then that's when IDW kind of like, got the rights to. But what's really great is that Kevin Eastman has always been like a consultant on it. So they've always stuck with the original concepts, and they always check with the original creator, which is really, really good. So just to give a kind of rough perspective of this book. So essentially it's very in the future.
Years.
Exactly. It picks up with New York is taken over by essentially Shredder's grandchild. Sorry, spoiler, but that's not really a spoiler.
Not really, because it happens in like the first 3 pages.
Exactly, yeah. And it's quite an interesting story. And so essentially you see a turtle come back, and you get the sense that, his brothers is gone.
Well, not really come back. You just see a turtle. And then you just are like, where's the rest of the homies?
Exactly, yeah. And then throughout these 5 issues, you see the kind of like, he's trying to kind of get revenge type thing. Not necessarily revenge, but he's trying to get justice for what happened between his clan and the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
And then, but you're also getting like these throwbacks of what actually happened with the family.
Yeah. I'm smiling because it's like, it's a beautiful
story. Okay, so jumping into spoilers. So this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't, please go read The Last Ronin. Come back and let us know what you like, because we're diving into what we love about the story.
Skip through this little section if you would like to.
Come back though. What is your overall feelings, and what does this book do for you?
Bro, like taking it from the whole Last Ronin kind of vibe, like we all know Japanese culture. The Last Ronin was, I think your master died, and then you because you didn't have a clan, you couldn't
You're essentially a Ronin,
samurai like thing.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like when I was reading it, I had that in mind, and then it just took me for like the left, like it literally swiped me under my feet, because I was reading it and I was like, what happened to the rest of the guys?
Exactly.
I'm like, who killed them? And then you get onto like Shredder's like rubbish nephew, and then you learn about him for like a little bit.
This is grandchild.
And you're just like, but I'm just like, screw him. What happened in between? I was like, you guys were this insane thing. And then who was the turtle?
Mikey.
So it was like Mikey.
Yeah.
And like the whole time I'm reading, and I'm like, but who is this?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
The whole time I'm reading, I'm like, who is the last one left? And I'm like, I'm trying to understand. I was like, I sort of know each of them, but it's got all of them in one. I'm like, what?
So with that being said, that brings me to like the two reasons why I love this book. For one is the storytelling. You kind of get like, oh, okay, it's there's no setup. You're thrown immediately into the situation. There's no lead up. You don't need to read anything before this.
Yeah.
Straight into the situation. Like, oh, okay, this looks bad. This looks terrible. You know. And then as the story progresses and as you get more like kind of flashbacks, you get more and you see what you see. You get the backstory in these flashbacks, and that structure, that storytelling is amazing.
Yeah,
for me.
and it goes back and forth between like present and past,
yeah.
And then it continues to do that, not to like confuse you, but just so that you have context and understanding of like, oh, this is why he's doing this. Oh, this is why this is happening. And then there's that whole, like, I think it is in book 5, the last one that we waited like months to read. Yeah. Where it's like this whole war thing's happening, and the way it ended, I'm just like,
So another point is like with the storytelling, they're not afraid to kind of, and I think this is also what makes the story so enjoyable, is that they're not afraid to jump into those dark corners. They're not afraid to hurt your feelings. Yeah. And it's kind of like a Game of Thrones episode.
I was about to say, it's almost like that. Like, they're not afraid to kill anybody that you get attached to. Like, you getting attached to somebody, too bad.
Exactly.
Or like, you're not getting attached to somebody.
And the problem, and you know what the thing is, I think this was I think Kevin Eastman, this is based on a concept of Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the original creators. And I think they understand, as a population, as a people, we love these characters, we love these turtles, and they lean into that. So, Raph is your favorite character. So each and every one of the turtles' deaths, it's coming, but it's so heartbreaking to see.
Yeah. Because you're like,
oh, goodness,
why him? I was like, actually, when Raph died, I was like, so it's not him. He was always the badass.
Yes,
like he was always the hothead. I'm gonna get mine before you get yours. Yes. Like he was always the wild one. And then when it turned into Mikey, I was like, the fool? Not to say that Mike is a fool, but he was more childish. He was like more childish. He enjoyed his pizza, whatever. Yeah. And to see him become like this adult in the thing, I was just like, this is not the Mikey I need, but it's the Mikey I want.
Exactly. Again, it's a character progression. It's a character development to say, these are the certain things that happened, these situations happen, and you can see how it impacts him as a character, and it just makes the story for me.
Yeah, and sort of, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the ending of it sort of leaves you on a cliffhanger to like,
so it's open-ended,
and be like, we could do something.
Exactly,
but we also couldn't.
So there's like a little, not necessarily a plot, but like a secondary story being told here. So Casey Jones and April O'Neil kind of have a child, right? And that's also another heartbreaking moment with Leo's death, because I don't think Casey knew about that April was pregnant, so he didn't get to meet his child. So that's a tough one. You see, they're not afraid to lean in on that darkness, but
I just really like it. It hits.
It
hit me.
It hits.
Like, what?
But the last little bit, it does kind of leave it open ended, and if I'm not mistaken, we're getting another 5. Like I think they're gonna set it up like a 5-issue mini. I think it's gonna be The Last Ronin, The Lost Years.
I mean,
so we might get a Mikey progression and Mikey training, and
I could wait,
bruh.
My goodness, I don't mind that. I would definitely pick that up, because after reading that, I was like, if this is the way it is now, what are the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like comics are like?
Exactly.
What like, is this like a continuous? It's obviously not going to be the same. Yeah. But I was like, I need to understand more and read.
I think that's also why the story is so great, is because the Ninja Turtles, they're comfortable, everyone loves them, and this story takes a left.
It does.
The story does it like completely it's a story you don't expect, but it's a story that you didn't know you needed.
Oh, so true.
So listen, if you have not yet read The Last Ronin, we try not to spoil, I'm sorry. But listen, go and read it.
You've also started collecting the
IDW hardcovers. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you need to break down what an IDW is.
Oh, IDW is the publisher, like Boom Studios, Image Comics. Yeah. Sorry. IDW is a publisher. But yeah, no, so it says you don't need to read anything prior to that. Because I mean, you got different villains like Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, like if you have the understanding of who's who, you would understand sort of what's happening.
If you have like the base knowledge of the team, you know the 4 turtles, you know Splinter, you know April, Casey, and you know Shredder. That's all you need to know.
Nothing else, but
that's all you need to know, and you need to go out right now.
And you need to do what you did with Game of Thrones and not get attached to anybody when you read it. Just
I think being a 5-issue miniseries, it does help for that emotional.
Yeah, but that's because you waited 3 months, 4 months for.
Yeah, I think I think this was meant. It's 5-issue, but it came out over a span of maybe 3 years. So that's a long time to wait.
Like they kept you in that suspense for very long, but it was very much needed and worth it.
100%.
When it came to the end of it and the storytelling. Throughout.
100%.
Oh, such a beautiful read.
I know. Any last thoughts on Last Ronin?
I mean, there's also some cool things that have come out with The Last Ronin. There's the statues.
I know there's some
Last
toys
Ronin,
as well.
Last Ronin, insane thing that you showed me this afternoon.
Oh yeah. So I think it's a PCS.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what is that looks beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And there's
that one's tricky. So you can actually get the Last Ronin statue on its own, and then I think you pay a little bit extra for the brothers. I'll throw a picture up. Jim Mint did a review on that. It's go check that video out. It's a really great statue. And
yeah, definitely.
I mean, if I had the money, I would definitely get that. I would hopefully. Iron Studios, if you do eventually hear this, please do a 1/10 scale of that. I'd definitely get that.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Yeah. And also there's new Minicos.
Yeah, there's many, but that's more for Ninja. That's more the Ninja Turtle, not
I mean, it's part of the same thing.
Fair.
It's not really, but there's also that. But there's many things that have come out with it, which is
it's a phenomenon. It's a really great. It's a good story. Like I say, it's a story nobody expected, but it's a story we didn't know we needed.
Yeah, I was about to say it just feels right.
It does.
And it is.
Yeah, no. Peter Laird, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Well done to you guys.
Yeah, no.
Beautiful.
All right.
I'll probably read it again.
Yeah, no. It's one of those things that I think I've read it maybe twice now. It's again one of those things that every time you read it, it still gets you. It has that emotional weight. But you kind of pick up little things as well. It's like reading it for the first time. It's that same feeling.
I think I might do it again.
No. All right. And if you're going to go do it again, let us know. And let us know what else you're picking up, what comic books you're picking up.
Also, let us know what we should be reading, what we shouldn't be.
I think from now on, I'm going to do a suggestion, a weekly suggestion for the next week.
I need to do the same.
On what to cover over for our comic book club. I know we have to jump into War of the Realms, which I have to figure out the reading order for that, and then I have to do.
I mean, we can, yeah.
Doomsday Clock.
In there. Yeah,
Doomsday Clock is one, and then but I'll probably throw that up. So listen, follow us, and thank you for joining us. Let us know what comic books you're reading.
Have a great week.
Have a great week, great weekend.
Be safe
and geek responsibly. Until next time.
Bye.